Social music talk. Well, when I saw you guys live, you guys actually blew me away. Like you're a band that should be, on the big circuit because you have a really big sound and it's really melodic and cool.
Well, thank you so much. Coming from you, that means a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you. I do appreciate that very much.
And it does rock. It is. I thought it was more like STP, but it kind of has that sound. But it's more punk. I think what you do.
Yeah. Well, you saying Stone Temple Pilots, that means I'm a huge Weiland fan.
Yeah.
I saw him when he played here in San Diego, and 30 days later he was dead. So I was very, very thankful to have seen him.
That's too bad.
Very, very iconic lead singer, and I do get kind of upset because he gets forgotten a lot lately.
Yeah, that's too bad. I think a lot of that era, bad things have happened to a lot of those artists, and we've lost several of them, unfortunately. And I don't really know what much more to say about it other than that was a great era of music, and it's sad to see all those artists disappear.
Oh, yeah, and what I really love about Scott Weiland, especially when he was in Velvet Revolver, which totally brought, I think, guitar rock back again in the early 2000s, was that when you saw them live, you not only saw Velvet Revolver, but Scott is or was such a great singer. They did STP songs and Guns N' Roses songs. So you basically got to see three bands for one, and that was really good.
That's right. That's kind of like Rage Against the Machine got together with Chris Cornell, and that was a pretty cool combination.
Yeah.
seeing Chris do Killing in the Name. But
yeah,
STP, I did meet Scott Weiland once in Sacramento back in the day when Purple was a big album, and he seemed like a really nice, down-to-earth guy, I thought.
Yeah, the one thing I never understood, because during that time period, I was in the Navy and I was stationed overseas, so a lot of my knowledge of bands during that time, I literally, there was like a 2-week delay, because I had to subscribe to Rolling Stone magazine and stuff, and at that time I was in Italy, so had to hustle down to a little newsstand, and in very broken Italian at the time. I got better as my time went along, but I got my copy of Rolling Stone or any music mag, and it was really cool. But the one thing I didn't understand was how they are always compared to Pearl Jam. I did not hear it or see it.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Well, I never thought that they sounded exactly the same. Scott had a deep voice like Eddie, so they had they sang in a similar range, I think. But that's as far as the similarities went. Other than that, they each had their own different style and different songwriting direction, I thought. They were both very melodic, but I think Eddie put more emphasis on the energy, and maybe Scott put more emphasis on the melody.
Yeah, and I think Eddie, he still is, of course, but I think he's more of a guitar player who sings. Scott, unfortunately, from what I've heard, never played guitar.
Oh, really?
Which amazes me because he had to, like Ozzy Osbourne, he had to convey his melodies and thoughts to his guitar player, who in turn would turn his thoughts into actual notes. So that's always been impressive.
Yeah, I actually thought Scott did play guitar, but maybe you're right, and I don't know. I mean, I thought I could swore in the picture of my mind him playing guitar and singing like an acoustic version of Interstate Love Song. But then again, his guitarist was, who's his guitarist in STP?
Oh, Dean DeLeo?
Yeah, he's the guy who plays the guitar. Now I'm reminded of that. Yeah. So, I mean, he does the riff of the famous... Something like that, right?
Oh, that's pretty cool. I believe it or not, I cannot play that riff for the life of me. I've tried it, and it's horrible.
Let me... Well, I was
horrible. I'm horrible playing it.
Well, I was close to horrible there. Let me try it one more time, and I'll explain it, okay? Because part of this show is about it, demystifying guitar. All right, so once again, having your fingers on the E chord, and then that pinky, put it where you would put the seventh. So it'd be And on the 7th, with your pinky, you want to like do that, bend it.
Oh, okay.
So start off with. And what I'm doing there is mostly staying on the E chord and bending it and then lifting it and then putting my pinky on the 3rd string as I'm pulling off and doing one of those licks. So anyway, does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I just want to say the pinky is the most underrated weapon of a guitar's hand.
Oh,
because I've seen some people use their pinky and some people don't. And I'm like, if you just use your little pinky, you could stretch out a little more. And like, whoa. I'm capable of doing leads, but not too good. I'm primarily a chord player.
Okay.
But if I do a lead of some sorts, it's something usually easy in the vein of, like a Chuck Berry or Ace Frehley style.
Right.
I do admire guitar players who can just Dweedle-dee all over the neck.
Yeah, you mean like AC/DC Back in Black? Let me try that real quick here. I think I got it here. What? Okay, now let me put it together now. How about that?
There you go. That's pretty good.
And
interview and a guitar lesson. What the heck?
And once again, that's using the E, just hitting that E once. And then we're going to go with the D chord, da-na-na, like down, up, down. And then hit the A. And then do a little tickling on the strings of the 2nd and 3rd strings of back to the E chord. So it's all playing around the E chord.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you because, again, I was overseas when this record came out. But when the Metallica Black Album came out, I was a fan of Metallica. Mm-hmm. And then, and you being in Northern California at the time, what was their feedback and response?
They were both Southern California and Northern California. I think they started in San Francisco and then moved to L.A., I think.
Oh, okay. So what was this like from your listeners there? They're like, what the heck? This is Metallica?
When Enter Sandman came out?
Yeah.
You know what? I was dialed into more the, I know 91X probably played that, right? Didn't they?
I don't know. I wasn't here during those times.
Okay. Actually, you're from Texas, right?
Hey, actually, you're right.
Yeah.
91X did play that. And it's just, it wasn't that song as much as the whole album seemed kind of wimpy for Metallica.
But I mean at the time when it came out in 91, because a lot of alternative stations, there weren't that many alternative stations at the time.
Right.
And so Quad didn't play it in Sacramento, although the rock station did for sure. And they own Metallica. We didn't really associate with Metallica or play them. So it was a different, we were going for the vibe at first, like the Jesus Jones type music and the stuff that was popular in 91. But then, when Nirvana hit and Pearl Jam, we leaned a lot in that direction. We started playing a lot of the Seattle bands. And then, the Jesus and Mary chain, that type of sound, we mixed that into to give it keep that rock pulse going, with different styles of rock, but still keeping a kind of a groovy pulse going. So Metallica, they didn't really have that groove that I was looking for our station, but they were probably the biggest rock band of that era.
Yeah.
I mean, they kept on being big, but I think they eventually lost a bunch of fans when they freaking sued their fans over the MP3 things, in the early 2000s. They were.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was funny because again, I was overseas when that thing was going down, and looking back now in hindsight, I mean, I think it's the streaming or the downloading. It really did. I mean, it changed the music industry, I believe.
Yeah.
Labels weren't making $100,000 videos anymore. If anything, they're like, well, hey, what kind of phone do you have?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, this century, it's way different. I mean, what does your son think of the music of this century? Does anything stand out to him that's really cool? Who's the Led Zepp of this era?
Oh man, it's funny because I try cool dad, and when he starts playing with the bands that he likes, like Motionless in White or there's so many others ones that I can't think of right now, but it's like, oh my god, I make that face like, what the heck?
Hey, speaking of,
I get into dad mode. I'm like, that's not music. Where's the chorus?
Hey,
There's no verse.
Hey, check this out. Lando, the music we're hearing in the background, that means we've only got 3 minutes left in the show. but that's my music. That's me playing guitar. I'm curious what you think about my guitar work.
Well, that's pretty cool, man.
It's party music. It's kind of like surf rock.
Yeah. Well, hey, before I get off the phone, is there any way I can promote my show tonight that we're playing?
Go for it. Tell us where it is and when it is.
All right. Well, first of all, it's only California will be wacky, crazy and wacky, but it's officially Star Wars Day today, May the 4th.
Okay.
May the 4th.
So at Bar Pink tonight, Hocus and Kitty Plague, we're playing at Bar Pink tonight. Free show, Star Wars theme. You can wear a costume. There'll be raffles and prizes, and music starts at 9 p.m. So it's a free show down at Bar Pink.
Wow, free show. Hocus playing tonight. Thanks for calling in, Lando Martinez.
All right, my friend, you guys have a great show, and I'll continue listening. Tell all my friends about it.
Cool. Right on. Thanks a lot. And so that does it for Social Music Talk, an experimental episode where we opened up the phone lines, and maybe we'll do that again sometime. So thanks for calling in.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, definitely. And coming up next is Green Weaver and Night Tripper. Tell us about the show.
That's right. The U-Bong Show is just minutes away here from the Weed Smoking Studios of WSRadio.com. So stay high and stay tuned. Again, the U-Bong Show is next.